All right, let's kick things off. Picture this. You're sitting down, maybe making a new character. Could be your first, could be your 100th. And you kind of wonder, okay, what class feels, well, me?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Like, have you ever felt the class you're playing isn't quite hitting the mark, doesn't quite match the hero you feel like inside?
Yeah.
Or, the adventurer you really want to be?
Oh, absolutely. It's such a core question, isn't it? We pick classes for, all sorts of reasons. Maybe a friend said, hey, play this, or you saw a cool spell, or maybe the name just sounded awesome.
Right.
But actually connecting that game choice, that mechanical thing, to who you are, that's where it gets really interesting.
Exactly. And that's pretty much what we're diving into today.
Yeah.
Take a look at this super interesting tool. It seems pretty relaxed, but also, quite insightful. It's designed to help adventurers, doesn't matter if you're seasoned or totally new, explore that connection. Maybe even discover their, ideal Dungeons & Dragons class.
Yeah. And this tool, it comes from LitRPG Reads, right?
That's the one. It's an interactive quiz.
Yes.
And the source we looked at mentions it was created by Emily Thorne.
Emily Thorne.
So, our mission for this deep dive, really get into this quiz.
Sounds good.
We want to understand, how it works, what kinds of questions does it ask, and probably most importantly, why figuring out your ideal class from something like this, why it might be more than just 5 minutes of fun.
Right. How it could actually make your game better.
Yeah. How it can genuinely enhance your role-playing, maybe how you build characters, or even just how you think about playing a campaign.
It's pretty fascinating, actually, how a well-designed set of questions can guide you towards these little insights about yourself as a player, but reflected through, game mechanics and those classic fantasy archetypes.
Absolutely. So, okay, let's start with the basics.
Yeah.
What is this thing? The source describes it pretty grandly.
Yeah.
Calls it an ultimate Dungeons & Dragons experience.
Wow, okay.
And a gateway to finding your iconic class.
Gateway. I like that. It sets a nice tone, doesn't it? It's the start of a journey, not just some quiz.
Okay.
It's actually titled the Interactive D&D Character Creator Quiz. And the idea seems to be sparking imagination for, both veterans and newcomers.
And it seems to cover, the main class options you'd expect.
Oh, it really does, yeah. The quiz apparently gives results for the classic 12.
The core 12.
Yep. Barbarian, Bard, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Monk, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard.
Okay, so pretty much the full spread.
Exactly. That gives you a really comprehensive look at all the different roles you could potentially step into, from the big tough frontliner to the arcane master or the divine healer.
Right. It touches on pretty much every major way you might approach adventuring in D&D. So, okay, the big question now. How does this interactive magic box actually work? What's happening under the hood?
Well, it's built on a concept that's pretty straightforward, but actually quite clever. You get a series of questions, right? And they're designed to be thought-provoking. They kind of push you to consider your preferences, how you'd react in certain, hypothetical situations.
So it's not just asking, do you want high strength? It's more about your style, your personality.
Exactly that. The questions dig into all these different facets of what makes an adventurer. Things like your preferred combat style, sure, but also what values matter most to you.
Okay.
And importantly, what kinds of adventures actually get you excited? What makes you lean forward?
Right. Okay. So it's trying to capture the essence of how you'd adventure. And how does it turn those answers into a class recommendation?
That's the point system. See, each answer you pick isn't just tied to one class.
Oh.
No, instead, your choice adds points towards several different classes, but with different weights.
Oh, I see.
So an answer might give, say, 5 points to Rogue, maybe 3 to Bard, and just 1 point to Wizard, something like that.
Gotcha. So it's not binary, this answer means fighter. It's more nuanced. Your choices build up this, profile that leans certain ways.
Precisely. And once you've gone through all the questions, the system just adds up all those points you've accumulated for each of the 12 classes.
And then grand reveal.
Yep. The class with the highest total score, based on all your answers, is presented as your ideal match.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
But the source mentioned you get more than just the one result, didn't it? There's detailed feedback.
Yes. And that's, I think, really key to the whole insightful part. You don't just get, you are a wizard.
Right.
You get this detailed feedback, including a breakdown of your score across all the classes. It shows you exactly how strongly your answers lined up with each different archetype.
Oh, wow. Okay. That is incredibly valuable. It's not just telling you what you are, but showing you the why based on your choices. And it might show, like you said, that you leaned pretty heavily towards maybe 2 or 3 classes. That could be great for thinking about multi-classing.
Exactly, or just adding some complexity to a single class character concept.
Yeah.
It helps you understand the logic behind it all and gives you a much richer picture of your sort of adventurer profile instead of just sticking a label on you.
Okay, let's dig into some examples. What kind of questions are we actually talking about here? The source gave a pretty good feel for the range.
Yeah, it covers quite a bit of ground. It definitely looks at your approach to conflict, right? And your underlying personality. It might ask about your ideal combat style, or about raw power, clever tactics, maybe divine help, or innate magic. Tapping into nature, inspiring folks.
Okay, yeah, that feels like a major fork in the road right away for any character concept.
Totally. Then it gets more specific, like about your tools, your preferred weapon or fighting style.
Oh, okay.
Do you see yourself with a massive two-handed thing? Or maybe quick daggers, short swords, a staff, a wand, relying on a holy symbol and mace, bow and arrows from afar, or just fists? No weapons needed.
Right. Those choices immediately paint a picture, don't they?
They really do.
Great sword just screams fighter or barbarian. Daggers, classic rogue, maybe monk. Staff is spellcaster territory. Holy symbol cleric, paladin. Paul ranger, maybe rogue. Fists are pure monk. It's directly linking how you want to fight to a class identity.
And it also gets into your core qualities, like are you passionate and impulsive, calm and disciplined, maybe charming, persuasive, wise, insightful, or fiercely loyal and righteous.
Ooh, okay. Those map so well onto D&D archetypes. Passionate could be barbarian, sorcerer. Discipline makes me think monk, or maybe a really stoic fighter. Charming, that's bard, maybe rogue.
Yeah.
Wise feels like cleric, druid, wizard. Loyal and righteous, paladin, cleric, definitely.
Yeah, see, and then it asks about your motivations too. What actually drives you on an adventure?
Right, the why.
Is it glory, physical challenges? Is it digging up ancient lore, mastering magic, defending the helpless, upholding justice, seeking enlightenment, inner peace, embracing the wilderness, its mysteries, or maybe crafting amazing stories and wowing audiences?
Motivations are so crucial for role-playing. Glory feels very martial, right? Lore and magic, obviously spellcasters. Defending the weak, paladin, cleric. Enlightenment, monk. Wilderness ranger, druid. Stories. Total bard territory.
Yeah.
It's really getting at the why behind what you do.
And how about in a fight? Your battle approach? When things get tense, what's your instinct? Charge in.
Barbarian.
Strike from the shadows.
Rogue.
Hold the defensive line.
Fighter or paladin.
Move with agile grace.
Monk.
Unleash powerful spells. Wizard, sorcerer, warlock.
Or maybe support your allies. Control the flow.
Cleric, bard, druid. Again, it's taking those tactical preferences and mapping them straight to classes.
Wow.
And finally, it even considers your ideal environment with setting preference. Where do you feel most at home? Bustling city, remote wilderness, ancient ruins, sacred temple, rugged frontier, or maybe a hidden monastery, a secluded dojo.
Okay, yeah. City life makes me think rogue, maybe bard. Wilderness is ranger druid land. Ruins often attract wizards or warlocks exploring secrets. Temples, clearly clerics, paladins. Frontier feels very fighter, maybe ranger. And hidden monastery, classic monk setting.
So you see, by asking questions across all these different areas, personality, combat, motivation, tactics, environment, the quiz builds this really multifaceted picture of what you prefer.
Right.
And it connects all that to the strengths and, the core themes of those 12 D&D classes.
That breakdown really shows it. It hits all the key things that define a character.
Okay.
So, if someone actually goes to LitRPG Reads to take this thing, what's the simple process like?
The source lays it out pretty clearly. Step 1. Answer the questions.
Okay.
Just, be thoughtful. Think about the kind of adventurer you'd want to be.
Right. Put on your imagination hat, click away.
Step 2, accumulate points. That's the behind-the-scenes part,
Yeah.
where your answers get weighted and add up scores for the different classes.
The algorithm does its magic.
Step 3, discover your class. The system crunches the numbers, finds the highest score,
The moment of truth.
and reveals your match. And then step 4, which we talked about being super important for getting the most out of it, review your results.
Yeah.
Look at that detailed breakdown, understand why the quiz suggested that class for you, and see how you scored on the others too.
It sounds really well guided. But let's talk about the why.
Yeah.
Why should someone actually, spend time taking this quiz. Is it just a 5-minute distraction, or is there something more valuable?
Yeah, that's the important question, isn't it? And the source really frames it as a way more than just a quick bit of fun. It's presented as a genuine tool for self-discovery and creative inspiration.
Self-discovery through D&D classes. Okay, tell me more. How does it help you learn about yourself?
Well, first off, it can give you some insight into your potential role-playing strengths.
Oh.
Based on your answers, the quiz might highlight qualities that suggest you'd be naturally good at certain things in the game. Maybe social stuff if it points to Bard, or clever problem solving if it suggests rogue or wizard.
Huh. So, if I always just play fighters because I like hitting things, but the quiz says I'm an ideal bard, it's not saying I can't play a fighter.
Not at all.
But maybe that my natural inclinations lean more towards, I don't know, charming NPCs.
Or
supporting the party in ways I hadn't considered. Maybe things I didn't realize I'd actually enjoy or be good at.
Exactly. It kind of gives you permission to lean into parts of your personality that you might not have thought were, quote, adventurer material.
Right.
And that leads right into the second point. Aid in character development.
Yeah.
You can take that result and use it as a fantastic starting point to craft a backstory, a personality that really resonates with how you seem to prefer to play. Or maybe, interestingly, challenges you a bit.
Yeah.
If you get rogue, maybe your character has this past tied to the shady parts of a city, which lines up with your preference for stealth and cunning shown in the quiz.
It gives you a foundation that feels connected to you, right?
Yep.
Makes the character feel more authentic to actually play.
Right.
And I mentioned enhancing campaign strategy. How does that work?
Well, by suggesting a class that aligns with your underlying preferences, it might just open your eyes to new tactics, new approaches you hadn't thought about.
Ah.
Like if you always play frontline tanks, but the quiz suggests sorcerer, it might encourage you to think differently about fights, maybe focus on battlefield control with spells, using the environment, supporting from the back.
Instead of just charging in again.
Right. It encourages you to think outside your usual box, but guided by what the quiz suggests about your natural leanings.
So it's really about unlocking your potential as a player, as a character creator.
That's how the source puts it. It emphasizes that every answer you give is helping define your potential legendary character.
Legendary character. I like the sound of that.
Me too. And it guides you by helping enhance those role-playing skills we mentioned, giving you a clear direction for developing a unique character backstory, inspiring you to experiment with new gameplay strategies. And it even mentions potentially joining a community. Maybe connecting with other players who found the quiz helpful, or just discussing the class archetypes it brings up.
So it positions the quiz almost as a launch pad for getting deeper into the whole D&D experience.
Yeah, which is a wonderful thing, isn't it? It's not just a test, it's like a creative prompt.
Definitely. Okay, before we wrap up, the source gave us a little background on the creator, Emily Thorne. Who is this lore weaver?
Ah, yes, Emily Thorne, known as Lore Weaver in some gaming communities, apparently. The source describes her as a beacon of creativity and insight.
A beacon of creativity. Sounds like someone whose work you'd want to check out in the RPG space.
Right. It highlights her sunny disposition and this infectious enthusiasm she has for RPG lore and just building immersive worlds.
You can kind of feel that enthusiasm, I think, in how the quiz is put together, asking questions that go beyond just, hitting monsters.
Definitely. Her skills are noted too, a keen eye for detail and a real narrative flair, which helps her craft content that makes these fantasy worlds feel, well, real.
So she's not just about the rules crunch, she really cares about the story aspect.
Exactly. Her blog is even called out as a go-to source for players who want both things. A deep understanding of the game mechanics and those narrative threads that hold it all together.
Covering both sides of the D&D coin. That's important.
And her style, described as very approachable. Her explanations are clear and concise.
Okay.
Which makes her stuff valuable whether you're totally new, just trying to figure out what a class does, or if you're a veteran looking for a fresh perspective.
That makes perfect sense. A quiz designed by someone who can explain complex stuff simply and clearly loves the story would naturally be engaging and easy to use.
And there's a fun little detail mentioned in the source, maybe for people familiar with LitRPG Reads.
Oh, yeah.
A little phrase included that just says, "I am Paul Bello." Just a nice little shout out to Paul Bello. Seems like he's a significant figure there, maybe the host or founder of the LitRPG Reads platform where the quiz lives.
I love little nods like that because it personality acknowledges the community. So shout out to Paul Bello.
Absolutely. It shows that kind of collaborative spirit,
For sure. Okay, so bringing it all together then.
Yeah.
This quiz isn't just some random label generator.
Yeah.
It's presented as this tool to help you explore what makes you tick as a potential adventurer, connecting your personality, your preferences to these core D&D classes, whether your strengths lie in, brute force, sneaky skills, powerful magic, divine help, or just telling amazing stories.
It's a way to kind of see yourself reflected in the game's archetypes.
And that connection, back to your inner hero idea we started with, that feels key.
Yeah.
Finding a class that a tool like this suggests, it could really boost your role-playing confidence, right? Because you're leaning into traits that might already feel natural. It makes playing that character feel more, authentic, more enjoyable at the table.
Definitely. It gives you a framework maybe to experiment with aspects of yourself you don't normally use or didn't even see as strengths in a game context before.
So if you're curious, if this sounds interesting to you, we definitely recommend checking out this quiz.
Yeah, for sure.
You can find it over on LitRPG Reads.
And a big thank you, obviously, to Emily Thorne, the Lore Weaver, for creating what sounds like a really cool, insightful tool, something that nicely blends the mechanics and the narrative.
Absolutely. And cheers to LitRPG Reads and to Paul Bello for hosting it and providing a space for resources like this.
It's tools like these, isn't it, that just add these extra layers of fun and inspiration to the hobby.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
So here's our invitation to you, the listener. Head over to LitRPG Reads. When you've got a moment, kick back, take the quiz, see what it tells you about your ideal D&D class.
Yeah, do it. And please share your results with us. We'd love to hear what class did the quiz suggest. Did it surprise you? Did it spark any cool character ideas or just thoughts about how you play?
We genuinely love to hear about your own journey of self-discovery through this D&D lens.
And, it leaves us with a final thought to chew on.
Oh, yeah.
If the ideal class this quiz spits out for you is really different from the class you usually play or the one you're always drawn to, what might that tell you? Does it say something about who you think you are versus who you might actually be? Or maybe even who you kind of aspire to be, at least in a fantasy world?
Yeah. Are you playing who you think you should be or who this quiz suggests you are deep down? Something to ponder until our next deep dive. From your D&D campaigns?
Yeah.
Player characters, NPCs, cursed items. Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear them.